All right, so I've opened up Kimi, open up whatever LLM you want to use. Uh, and I'm going to show you how I create a master prompt. So I'm not even mentioning a master prompt when I start off. I'll do something like this. I'm using Whisperflow. It's in a previous lesson. I do have uh, a link with a free month worth of try. All right, I want to implement branding in websites that I develop. Can you please go onto the internet to the best archetype website and create me a detailed summary of all the archetypes available when building brand. So we want to build up a question base for customers to answer, so we can figure out for a website or a web application how the brand should be incorporated into it. And many customers do not understand what their archetype is, or think that branding is a logo, colors, and fonts. And I think for us to start off, let's create a detailed MD file of all available archetypes. Please be as detailed as you can, because I'm going to give you this archetype file later on, so that you then can classify a company in a main archetype and then a secondary archetype. All right, so it's going to take a little bit of time. If I click here on Kimi, others just do it automatically. You can see how it's going to start searching things. You can see that it's going to different websites to find all this information and so forth to give you the archetype. So an archetype is really, there's, if I remember correctly, 12 archetypes, and you can classify your business as a specific archetype. Once you understand or you know the archetype of your business, now you can start thinking about colors, fonts, and so forth. People just go, especially smaller companies, when they think branding, they think colors, logos. So they create logos and they create fonts and, colors. And it's normally the color scheme that the CEO likes. If the in charge likes blue, it will be blue, and so forth. But there really are a technology around branding. And to explain to you something about branding is, let me tell it to you this way, all right, or say it to you this way. There are three things that customers see about your business. The rest of the stuff runs in the background, but what they see, first of all, is your company culture. All right. How do they feel when they deal with you? All right. So that's a feeling. The second thing is the brand, and that says, do they like you? All right. Do they like you as a company? That is what brand builds. Do they resonate with what you stand for? The third thing is marketing, and that is, what do they think of your product? And then lastly, it's the sales, which means give me your money. All right. So if your culture is perfect and your branding is perfect and your marketing is perfect, the sale comes automatically. So we want to show a brand voice. We want to show what the company stands for, all right? And this is then now what I've got back. And if I click on the file, it created for me a total document on all the different, like the sage, orientation, yearn for paradise, also known as the expert, the scholar, the detective, the advisor. So there's a whole thing around this. Okay, the next thing, so there's your first document. I'm going to upload it for you, but it is your master reference for archetypes. The next thing I want to do, color schemes. I understand that colors play an important role in branding. The reds can mean playful or something, or adventurous. I can't really remember, but please give me a color psychology, or the color psychology for branding, so that we can have that in a document as well, and even reference archetypes to different colors. All right, so it will come back and it will give us this color psychology, what people think about when they see certain colors. You know, what does it remind people of, and what works? You know, Coca-Cola is red, and they play on playfulness. All right. Let me see how much time I have left. Still a lot of time. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing research, right? It's easy to do. First off, I know if you didn't know about archetypes, for instance, you could have said, I want to build a brand. What psychologies are there? How can we, are there different categories for different type of companies when it comes to branding? It would have come up with archetypes anyway. But yeah, so here's our very nice big document. In some, depending on the LLM you use, it might just spit it out for you. Then you can copy paste it into a text file. I have it here, and I can just simply download it. And look at Markdown. All right, Markdown is a word you're going to hear about very often. And Markdown is a way to structure a text file so it doesn't look so plain, but it's still very small. If you put a PDF into a prompt, upload it, it will use 10-20 times more tokens than when you put a MD file in. And we have a whole section on MD files soon, but just remember MD files. I'll show you in a minute how they look like. And let's see what it came back with here for me. It created another, download the color psychology guide. All right, and there it comes. Right. Now, I also want to introduce the brand voice of the company. What do they stand for? Because the brand voice needs to be showcased with the archetype, with the right color schemes, so that we can have a proper voice telling people what we stand for, so they like the company even more. And there it goes. So I think I've run out of time nearly, not quite yet. So let's take a look just at the document. You can see, so yellow is great for archetype affinity. It shows temperature, warmth, things like that. Okay, there's the oranges. And it's working on this. So I'm going to stop the video here for us, so it can complete on its own. But yes, for a prompt, we're going to do some extensive research. So I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.